What's going on YouTube? It's Tyler, and today I'm going to set up and review this Antra antenna preamplifier. It took me a little while to discover that this preamp actually existed because it's usually buried behind the Channel Master and Winegard models. But I discovered it on Amazon for about $25, found it even cheaper on eBay for $20, and discovered it has some cool features. It has adjustable gain, an FM trap, and an LTE filter for interference from cell phone signals and radio signals. Now, those of you that are seeing me for the first time and haven't checked out my other videos, I'm going to explain exactly what preamps do. Preamps amplify the signal at the antenna to prevent any loss in the coax. So for example, if you have a very weak station that's about 30-35% and your TV needs about 25% of the signal to decode, and there's a 10% signal loss in the coax and splitting the cable, by the time it gets to your TV set, it's not decoding the signal. Installing a preamp so that weak station that's at 35% can stay at 35% when it hits your TV set. Contrary to what some people believe, it doesn't automatically bring you in new stations if the stations aren't hitting your antenna in the first place. But I can tell you preamps do make a difference if you have a very weak signal or if you're experiencing dropouts in bad weather. Another thing with preamps is it's very hard to determine how good they are based on online reviews because half the people either don't know how to set them up or don't understand that preamps don't necessarily bring in new stations if the stations aren't already hitting your antenna. Most preamps I found online have a 3.5-star rating, no matter what the model. You might also read some reviews of preamps failing. That might have to do with people not properly grounding their antenna. I wouldn't be surprised if at least 95 to 99% of outdoor antennas set up aren't properly grounded. So they build up static when your TVs are connected to the antenna, getting these electromagnetic signals, and the preamplifier amplifying it. That static has to go somewhere, and usually what it'll do is fry the amplifier. So moving on to the setup of the preamp, inside the box you will find the preamp itself along with the power inserter, a zip tie, and the user manual. To hook up the preamp, you simply open it up, and on the left side, that is what connects directly to your antenna. You want this cord to be between 3 to 6 feet, depending on how large your antenna is, so that way you can keep as much of the original signal at the antenna as possible. Then on the right side is where you're going to connect the very long cable going from your antenna inside your house. And then you're going to connect that cable to the left side of the power inserter, and then the right side goes either directly to whatever TV set you have hooked up or to the splitters going to multiple TV sets. If possible, connect this power inverter to the ground wire, which is usually located at your service panel. If it's not feasible to ground the power inserter itself because you don't have a nearby outlet where it's coming into your house at, you can always just use a regular grounded coupler. Once you have it set up, you're going to want to verify that it's connected properly, so go to any of your TV sets and make sure that you have all of the channels that you were getting before it was hooked in, and then run a rescan to see if it brings in any more weak stations that maybe weren't coming in without the preamp. Now I'm going to hook it up myself to see how well it works with an outdoor antenna that I have set up with a 50-foot coax cable to see the difference in the signal strengths between the preamp and the preamp not connected at all. I pointed my antenna towards the weak Scranton and Wilkes-Barre stations and connected the antenna without a preamp and checked the signal strength on each of the channels. And here were the results. WNEP had 63%, WYOU had 58%, WBRE had 50%, and WOLF had 51%. Then I went down and connected the preamp to the antenna, and here were the results. WNEP went from 63 to 72%, WYOU stayed the same, WBRE went from 50% to 59%, and WOLF went from 51% to 61%. So as you can see, this preamplifier did a pretty good job in boosting the signal of the stations that were losing some of the signal through the coax cable. And that 10% gain can make the difference between a watchable signal and a non-watchable signal, both in terms of bad weather, and if the signal itself is maybe at 40%, running that long coax cable can actually lose the signal because of loss in the coax. Putting the preamp would actually gain channels in that instance. I definitely recommend this preamp for those of you that have weak stations. You can tell if they're weak because they're dropping out in bad weather. Maybe they come and go as they please. But just keep in mind, this amplifier will not bring in stations that are not coming in already at your antenna. You can verify this by using a portable TV tuner and hook it in directly to your antenna. If you notice you get a station at the antenna but you don't get it at your TV set, that means the signal is lost in the coax cable and you need a preamp to get it. Preamps also work very well if you are splitting the cable between 2 or more TV sets. That way it makes up for the loss that you get with those splits. Thanks again for watching this video, and for those of you that live in the eastern region of Pennsylvania and are considering cutting the cord but aren't sure exactly the dynamics of an antenna, what antenna you need, and all this crazy stuff about cord cutting, feel free to check out my website, antennamanpa.com. Subscribe to my channel for more cord cutting updates, and have an awesome day.